Hello traders and you rich spirits, it's me Krasmir Panayotov back in the Rich Spirit channel with another weekly Forex forecast for you guys and for those who want to learn. Now what you see guys in front of you is the GOAT, but I will analyze also the major Forex pairs and some of the secondary Forex pairs so we can prepare for the next week and get this money. Now what you have here is the daily chart on GOAT, and what is interesting here is the consolidation during the previous week. Now we had a massive drop 2 weeks ago and a consolidation around this area the previous week. Okay, so let's analyze the chart and let's see what's actually going on. Let's first start with the weekly chart so we can see where we are right now. As you can see, this is a massive rejecting candle on the weekly chart, so probably the next move should be going down, and this is what I personally expect. Now let's see further and see what's going on. We have an uptrend, that's clear, so this move to the downside shouldn't last forever. Okay, so what else can we do? Let's move again to the daily chart and see if we have something interesting. Now do you see these arrows, guys? Now, what I want to show you is I want to match all these lows over here in one trend line. It will be an inner trend line matching all these lows, okay? And when we zoom in, what can we see? You see, it touches all these lows here, this low where the price broke up quickly, and we can see that currently we are again on this trend line. So if it finds support here, we can again move backwards up to the upside. Okay, but if we break this support level, then we definitely can test this low over here. This is at least my point of view, so we can see a move to the downside if we break these lows over here and this support level at 1818. Okay, in the previous video you can remember that because of this pin bar I expected some correction to the upside, probably 50, 40, 30% of the move to the downside, which happened from this top. Okay, but such correction didn't happen, and I have analyzed this, and very often the price after such big moves continue for a little while to the downside. And so after I got stopped out, or after I cut my losses, you know, I took the trade, the price went a little bit to the upside, but then we had a rejection. So I started looking for a bearish opportunity on this trade. First of all, I was on the 1 hour chart. Let's analyze my trading view, and I saw this let's say kind of a flag pattern which started appearing here, or a wedge pattern. Okay, so I started selling right after this massive candle. Of course, I was recently tested, so the price pulled back to the resistance. It held the resistance and tried another push to the downside, but my actual take profit target was a little bit lower, so here I couldn't take my profit. Okay, and it was while I was sleeping, so I couldn't do nothing about it. The price again tested the resistance, but this resistance actually held, and this was very good because after another try here, the price already started going back lower. So I took some of my profits here because you see this rejection of the price, this support that it started creating on the 1 hour chart. So I secured some of my profits. But if now the price corrects a little bit to the upside, probably to this support and resistance level right here, I'll be looking for another sell signals. Okay, so I can get another move to the downside or to these lows, or if I calculate it right to the 1790 zone area, where on the 4-hour chart you can see right here with these lows over here, and this will be my final target. But this is just a plan if everything goes right on the gold pair. Okay, if the price just continue selling down, I will tell you where it should be a reasonable take profit. Now I'll move again to the 1-hour chart and mark the consolidation zone, which for me is basically this zone. Okay, I'll draw it just like this. Okay, so usually when we break out of a consolidation zone, we can expect a move nearly as much as is the size of the consolidation. So you can just take the consolidation and place it under the breakout, which happens here. So reasonable take profit target is this zone right here, or the green zone, or you can even wait for a little bit further move to the 1790 zone area. And that's what I expect for this market. Okay guys, let's now move to the next pair. Let's see if the price goes bullish, then we should have in mind these resistance areas and the mini resistance which appear to be around this level right here. Okay, so have in mind when you're trading, these are your potential take profits targets if you're bullish, but for now the price looks very bearish to me. Okay guys, let's move to the Euro USD as the most traded pairs on the Forex market, and let's analyze a little bit. On the Euro USD we have also seen a decline, so the price started breaking down, first broke this channel. Let's move to the 4-hour so we can see it clearly. First the price rejected this resistance area, broke the channel and started trading lower, started trending bearish. Now I will show you one small support zone, mini support area right here, which we have already reached, and from there we can have another pullback to the previous resistance area. Okay, and if the trend continues, we can see another push to the downside, and this is something which can easily happen. Now I guys want you to see this trend line. This will be our outer trend line, the most important trend line, and this inner trend line I have drawn. So since we are at the inner trend line as well as on gold, we can see a strength for the euro if the US dollar gets weakened, and we can see another push to the upside. Okay, that happens over and over again. We have to be able to see this before it happens. Well, I've lost my outer trend line, but it's okay. Can always draw it again if we're pros. Okay guys, so another important buy zone area, demand zone, never mind how you're gonna call it, is the 1.20 zone area. So if the price tests this area, we can look for another buy opportunities. So if you see some favorite pattern or a candlestick pattern, never mind, and if it shows bullish around this area, you can set a tight stop here or below the support, or even below the previous support area, and wait for some move to the upside, no matter how big, according to your strategy, of course. So this is what I will personally do. I will wait until we reach this area of support, which matches with the outer trend line here. I will even delete this one because it's not so actual anymore. We are breaking it currently. So yeah, the dollar got some strength last week. So this may continue with the President Biden stepping into power. with the stimulus, I don't know how it's in English, but the stimulus that the Federal Reserve gave to the economy. So this will give some power to the dollar. How much? Nobody knows. We have to watch and see what the market decides. Okay, let's now move to the next market. In it is the Euro GBP. Now here I will only mention this head and shoulders pattern which I have mentioned in the previous videos. If you guys didn't see my previous videos, you can subscribe to the channel and see all my other and future videos. Now what we have here is this left shoulder, the higher head, and the right shoulder. Now if we break this support area, we can expect what? A move to the downside, but how much? As much, nearly as much as is the size of the head and shoulders pattern itself. So we take the height of the head and shoulders, we apply it after a potential breakout, and we see where we can take our profit. And that's a very good level, because here we have another level of support around this area. Okay, so here is a nice level to actually take profits, and I'll be monitoring this area, guys, because if the euro continue dropping, and against the GBP the euro is weaker the last days, we can see a continuation to the downside, and that would be beautiful. Another thing is that you can wait until the price reach this zone, wait for a retest of the neckline, and enter only after a retest of the neckline. This happens in about 61% of the breakouts on head and shoulders, so it's a safer entry according to some professionalists. So you can enter here, set your stop loss maybe here, maybe above the shoulder, and take profit somewhere around this zone. Okay guys, this is all for this chart. Let's, of course, the price can return back to the upside since we are at support level. So to sell right now in this current moment, it's too risky, because the chances for you are 50-50. We don't like these chances. Okay, and I've lost again my resistance level, support and resistance level. Have to draw it again. Okay guys, let's move to GBP USD and see what we have here. Here the GBP USD goes much better than the euro, so we are still in a very bullish trend, and since the new President Biden in the United States, the price is going well for the GBP. Now what we can see here is a pullback to this support area and another push to the upside following the trend, and this could be beautiful. Also the price can just continue the trend, maybe break this resistance and go even higher. That's a possible scenario. What if we break this support area and go even lower? Now this could happen in the first days of the week, and if there we find some support, we can again continue with the trend. But if the dollar remains strong, we may break even this trend and start a new bearish trend, which will be a little bit sad, because it was funny going with all currencies against the dollar, but this is Forex, everything is possible. Let's move to the next one, and this would be in our case USD CAD. As you can see, very bearish trend. Now here on the daily chart we had some pullback the last day with the fall down of the euro. So as we have said, the dollar gets some strength recently, but also the Canadian dollar is pretty strong currency. It's a currency in the country that does very well in the times of crisis, rich of gold, of oil. Now the price of oil have recovered all the drop during the pandemic. So it's very nice to see what will happen here. Now the chances are or to continue with the trend to the next support area, or if we break this resistance, we to test again this previous resistance level, and from there with the bigger trend we to continue a little bit more to the downside. Why not? Okay guys, this is what you have to watch in this pair. I also want to show you the Euro-CAD pair. Now here we have this wedge pattern or this flag pattern, which I expected to move more aggressively to the upside, but unfortunately the Canadian dollar is pretty strong currency pair, and you know, those guys who trade with volumes maybe saw something different than me. Okay, so here I took some profits around this area of resistance, but then the price started rejecting this area, so I had to cut my trades. Here there was a nice triangle pattern which played very well. Now here I entered a trade after the breakout, and I expect the price to move nearly as much as is the beginning of the triangle, but you have to take it from the top. Okay, so how we trade this is we just take the upper trend line, we apply it. Let's move to the 1 hour so I can show you bestly. So you see, these are the tops of the triangle, so the price, and these are the bottoms. I will not calculate this ultimate low because we have to see where the price touched the trend line most often. Okay, so you take this low of the triangle and you move just this upper trend line, so you have to have these two absolutely parallel levels of trend lines, or you can just draw a channel to see where you can take your profit. Okay, you have your triangle here. Okay, and after the breakout you take a sell trade, okay, let's say from here, and you want to take profit somewhere around this, somewhere around the touch of this lower zone. So let's make it a little bit wider. So here is a good place for taking profits on this trade. Okay, after we touch the lower parallel line, you see this line is only parallel to the upper line. Okay, and this was a good trade. I actually gave pretty nice risk reward ratio, because let's say you set your stop loss here. This is your risk, but look at your profit. Your profit is really big. So here I wasn't patient enough to wait for this profit, because you can see that the price many times tried to go back, but usually in about 80% of the times the price chases this lower trend line. Okay, and this is what exactly happened here. You see sometimes the price even go lower than the target. So that was a pretty nice trade. Now here, even if the risk on this trade was a little bit higher, let's say above these highs over here, that's still a good, like 1 to 1.5, or maybe to 2, yeah, 1 to 1.5 risk reward ratio. Okay, and that's it for this chart. Now what we can expect here is maybe the price can respect this support area, but maybe it can continue even lower, and then we will have an interesting M pattern. But let's talk about that on the next hour video, because still we don't know if this can happen. Now, of course, the price can pull back a little, at least to the Fibonacci levels, or we can continue with the massive drop. Okay, let's check AUD/USD. Here we have a very nice bullish channel. You know, after a long time of bullish trend, we had some consolidation, a flag pattern, and another breakout and another bullish trend. Now, currently the price pulled back with the gold. You have to remember that this pair correlates with the gold. So we are currently at a support level, so the price can continue up, and if it breaks these highs over here, we can reach the next resistance area, and maybe even we can go higher on this pair if the gold recovers its strength and the USD loses its power. Okay, but if we break this support area, then we can see something like head and shoulders pattern. You see the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. So not every time, guys, the head and shoulders will look absolutely beautiful. Sometimes you have to look at it as like something very hidden. But it's better to be very obvious, because more of market participants see it and more of market participants gives to it power. So it becomes like self-fulfilling prophecy. Now in this case, if we break this support area, we can of course expect a move nearly as much as is the size of the head and shoulders. Now I take this size, the size of the head, I apply it after a potential breakout, let's say somewhere here, and we can easily reach this mini support zone area. You see all these highs over here, all these lows are area of a mini support. So here is good level for taking profits. And I actually hold one trade here. I'll tell you why, because here I found some pretty cool entry around this area. So after the breakout, I took a sell trade. Of course, we see this rejection, but I was already in the trade. So what we have here is the M pattern. You see, sometimes M patterns look exactly like this, and they're worthy to trade. You see M pattern here, you see M pattern here, so they give some pips to the downside, and I expected after we break this neckline here, we to continue to the downside, and this is exactly what is happening right now. So I expect, if we break this support, to take profit somewhere around these lows over here, the mini support area. Okay, and that's it for this pair. Of course, the price can continue go bullish, and we to continue with the trend. So I took a little bit risky trade, but it's with a very small risk. I have already moved my stop loss lower, so I will not lose too much money on this trade. Okay, let's move to USD CHF. And I'll here just remind you what I have said in the previous video analysis, this resistance zone. Now, if we respect it, we are going down probably to these lows over here and the next support area. Maybe we can test it even a little bit deeper. Also, if the price just make a correction and break through this, we will see the head and shoulders pattern with the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder, and then we can expect a move. How much? As much as is the size of the head and shoulders pattern, so we can look for taking profits around this area right here, between the 70 and 100% of the size of the head and shoulders. This is what I usually do. Okay, but I will leave this resistance area to remind me the truth. Okay guys, for further swing ideas, we have to mention the overall trend, which is bearish, and on the weekly, yeah, that's pretty cool. So we can continue very easy to the next support area, which is this area right here. Okay, let's move to the USD JPY pair, and we can see also the strength of the dollar last days on USD JPY. And if we break this channel, then we have a very good potential of reversing this bearish trend. But if we stay with the trend and get rich, we can continue to the downside, and I would love to see a move to even this support area. Why this is a support area? Because here you see all these lows over here and maybe even these lows over here. So I will maybe lift it a little bit higher so it can be the most accurate. So yeah, we can retest it once again. You see, even in the biggest spikes the price was tested, so this is a good level of support, as well as this is a good level of resistance, so we can even retest it and continue to the downside. Okay guys, let's move to the next pair. Let's just check this. Also here the New Zealand US dollar is also correlating with the gold, and with the decline of gold we see some bearishness. This is chart similar to AUD/USD, but if we find some support around these previous highs, we can continue with the trend probably to the next resistance area, which we see on the weekly here. Okay, but also we see a weekly rejection candle here on a level of a mini support, mini resistance, which is interesting, but I believe that the price will continue going up at least for one more try. Okay, and guys, let's check out the Bitcoin and how it moves, because it's really beautiful to watch this. I don't trade this pair right now because my broker banned it for a while because not to steal too much of his money, but you can see that the price have speed up the bullish trend. You see, the trend was relatively slow, even here, then the trend really speed up, and now currently we have this double top or the M pattern forming. So let's move to the 4-hour chart and analyze. Currently the price is breaking this support area around this blue zone. Okay, so this is important. If this continues further, let's make another trend line here. So you see something like head and shoulders, not so beautiful, but maybe we will see a triangle pattern here if the price returns. Now there is a very big chance the price, even after it breaks for a short time this support area, to come back and again test this trend line or the previous highs as a resistance, and this would be beautiful. Now if we break this trend channel and this support area on the previous lows, come on baby, do something for me. So if we break this level here, then we can see some really nice move to the downside, maybe nearly as much as is the size of this potential double top pattern. Okay, so if we break, yeah, we have a move maybe to this previous support area, and this would be a good area of support because it also matches with this trend line. You see that? And from there we can see another attempt for the buyers to recover some of their losses. And this can be probably to this resistance area, or if it breaks it, we can test these previous highs here, and only if we break it we can find something like a new high. That's my analysis. But guys, if we go bullish now and we break this resistance trend line here, then we will have the pennant pattern, which is nice and gives a nice opportunity for the buyers, and the price can move probably to the 45,000s or even 50,000s. And this is actually my ultimate expectations for Bitcoin. I don't expect the price to move really to 100,000s or something like this. I think it's already overbought, and you see that some of the big players in the game are already taking their profits. So I think that was for 2020, 2021, the most exciting thing on Bitcoin. Usually such drastic uptrends, if we clear the chart, you see what a move from these breakouts to these highs over here. That's super bullish mania. This is already not about the price, it's about the greed of the people, actually the greed. There is nothing that drives the market. The Bitcoin is not that expensive as it is right now. This is a balloon, as they love to call it. So there will be crash on this price. Of course, the price should at least break down probably to this level or even to these support levels, because this is what usually happens after big balloons. They lose like 80, 70, 80, 90%, sometimes 100% of their price. So let's see how much here actually the price have lost its value from 19,000 to only 6,000. That's nearly 60%, and then it have lost even more. You see these lows here, it's still part of this downtrend, so it dropped to 3,500. That's how many percent? I believe around 80% of the price, or 70%. I'll not calculate this too much. Okay guys, thank you for being here with me. This is one of the most longest videos. I hope you didn't get bored. I will try to cut some of the unneeded comments on this analysis, but I hope you're doing very well. I hope you develop as a traders and as a people. If you're new to the channel, you know what to do. Here will be the bottom of the subscribers, so you can do that, subscribe to the channel. And if you are already member of the Respirit channel, you can just wait for the next videos, which I promise will be very exciting, because I had a time of crisis, time of personal crash. I was going up, but now my price went down. I had crashed in my private life, but now I'm about to buy myself cheap and raise my value to the highest points in my life. Okay guys, thank you for being here with me, and see you in the next videos. For now, peace.